G'day, welcome to the Adelaide Model Railroaders. The last time I did a progress report was about August 2017, I think, so it's about time we did one. One thing I'd like to mention before we start is the club now has its own website, AdelaideModelRailroaders.com. I've put the link to that in the description below. So without further ado, let's take a walk through the layout. We have AMR on the club's computer to program locomotives and run our trains using mobile phones. Barclay is mainly used as our western staging, even though we have a number of industries here that can be switched. One of our members who recently passed away bequeathed us about 30 locos and about 200 pieces of rolling stock, which are lettered for the Ipinichi Creek Railway. Here's one of the cabooses and one of the Ipinichi Creek locos. This signal cabin is new. While I'm here at this point, I might mention that we use NCE DCC, turntable, roundhouse. Now we move on to OPI, which has a oil refinery. Here's one of the Ipinichi Creek locos, a Bachmann 280. At our oil refinery, we have a couple of new tanks. This one's got some guys painting the tank. Nothing much new, just some new wagons there in front of the sawmill. Jellyfish jumps, bridges at Jellyfish jumps are still the same. We're just about to leave the end of the first room out of 5 rooms we'll go through. Here the layout goes to 2 levels. We'll follow the bottom level around at first, then go around the top level, so you get a continuity. Now we've moved into room 2, which is one of the smaller rooms. The main line is double track going through this area. I'll skip through fairly quickly on some of these pieces. Here we go through the next room into room 3 rather. That's Cook's Cutoff. You can see on the track coming down. Cook's Cutoff links the 2 levels of the track. You can see the bottom level, the top level, and Cook's Cutoff, which links them up. Here you can see the road bed, which is at this point 12mm plywood with 12mm cane on top. This bit is soon to be scenic here. Little freight station at Houseman. This is just my recent scratch building job. Scratch build out of card. Jones Junction is where Cook's Cutoff goes off from the main lines. Here we have Rolling Off Transport Services, which has TIFC facilities, and we move into the 4th room now. This is Houseman Yard. We have some building industries at the back there. I laid all the track in this yard. I laid it on 4 modules. then turned the modules over and wired them, put all the switch machines and everything, and then lowered them down onto the benchwork. Getting co-op as a scratch built by myself from card and PVC pipe. The viaduct is pretty recent, made out of 3 layers of 3mm ply. There's a caboose track here, engine ready tracks, and a turntable at the eastern end of Houseman. Double track ends here. When you get to see it, here we are. The back track is a return loop coming back, and the near track is the single track main line that goes on from this point. Now we're coming to the latest lot of scenery. It's not really finished yet, this scenery. It's still to be glued down. Here's where the return loop goes off at Gala Junction. You can see our switch tenders there and our L-girder benchwork underneath this section of the layout. Now the return loop begins to diverge away and go back through the backdrop back to the eastern end of Houseman. This turnout is Henschke Junction, where the branch line to the port will branch off the main line. Then we enter Atkins. This is the port area. At the moment it's just bench work in a room 6, a small room which is 3 metres by 1.5 metres. At Atkins, this is the first truly double-decked piece of the layout. After quite a long run of single track mainline, we reach Zieglersdorf. There's quite a number of industries here at Zieglersdorf, including the packing company, pickle factory, coal stage and water tower, cattle pens, and elevator. After a short run from Zieglersdorf, trains go under Haynes Bridge and enter Leatherby, a curved siding around the edge which spans from room 2 back to room 1. From Leatherby, trains go through the hidden loop underneath Kingston. And travel upgrade. Until they reach Holland Junction. Holland Junction, which is this crossover, allows for continuous running. Not long after Holland Junction, we reach a swing bridge called Inge Bridge. Inge Bridge brings us back over the lower track. From here on, we're on the upper level. First of all, on upper level, there's a passing siding called Jeremy Junction. Jeremy Junction is a spot where Cook's Cutoff branches off and goes down to the lower level. Continuing on the upper level, we're just leaving Jeremy Junction. There are some quite long runs between stations and passing sidings on the layout, so much so that it takes about 17 minutes for a train travelling at a scale speed to travel from end to end. This is the next bit that's going to be scenic. Probably some rock moulds used here. The black painted bit is where a tunnel is going to go through the wall to the fourth room, and we're above the long viaduct. This viaduct is probably nearly 5 metres long. Now we come to the newest bit of scenery again. This scenery was made with cardboard strips, woven cardboard strips, then chucks over that, and tinted plaster applied with numerous rock moulds to make the cuttings and rocky outcrops. There's a little mine here set into the cliffs. We don't know quite what it's going to, what sort of ore it produces, but it's there anyway. Next we come to the town of Workendam. This is a stone cutting business here. Wright Stone Cutting Company, Stone Cut Wright. Workendam Station. Got enough space here to put a reasonable sized town behind Kerry Canning Company. Quite an impressive structure. Steam facilities here as well. Henschke Wurst House. Grain elevator at Workendam as well. Back through the wall into room 5. Another lift up bridge across the door, two lift up bridges, one on the bottom level, one on the top level. We're back onto the area which is double decked. You can get a bit of an idea of the double decking there. This is the steel mill, blast furnace. That was Chris Yarn's, some of the rock moulds that we're using. RHP steel electric furnace, converter number 2, is a kit I built. I also built the rolling mill out of 2 Walters rolling mills. Makes quite an impressive building. Double decked on this side of the room as well. Coke ovens, built by another member that's since passed away. This is going to be the byproducts area for the coke plant. This little building I scratch built from pieces left over from the rolling mill. Back into room 4, come to practice yard. This is a new addition to the layout, also built in modules. Fitted onto the layout in a slightly different form, but still the same principle of building the laying a track, turning it over, doing all the wiring. This is the one of the PMG switches that we use to control our turnout motors. Sorry about my finger in the way. Here's one of the switch tenders. I think I've showed you them earlier on. Switch tenders by Micromark. Practice yard will be handle all the steel mill rolling stock, service the steel mill, that is. Car repair shop, repairing cars, steel mill cars. There's a couple of bottle cars in there. Haulage wells, there is going to be a beam pump for pumping oil out of the ground here. This is where it would be crude oil loading here. An area that still will be developed. Back into room 3. This will be our iron ore mine. The Walters Glacier gravel kit will be modified to be an iron ore mine, yours and mine. Here we are working on more scenery. You can see the chucks, plaster being applied over chucks. This is also cardboard web underneath. The top level here is Haynes. At Haynes we can shunt both the iron ore mine and, looking further along, and also shunt the power station seen in the background here. Now we're going back from room 2 back into room 1. The scenery here is made of carved foam, carved polystyrene foam. Atkins aggregates, limestone quarry. Once again, rock moulds used here. Here's a lovely scratch built stone crushing plant. Murray milling is also a scratch build. Scratch builds add a bit of character to the layout. Mikla fuel and oil. Golden Valley canning, and another scratch built structure. A lovely looking structure. Don't know what it is, but it certainly looks nice. Icing platform, works, ice works. There will be an abattoir here, and there's the cattle pens for the abattoir. Warwick Chemical Company. three tracks here are the tracks of Kingston. And once again we arrive back at Holland Junction. This connection between upper level and lower level, allowing continuous running. Now we'll walk through where the hinged bridge is, and we see Redmond Mining Company, coal mine. The three tracks in the foreground here are the East End staging. Here we can look across to Barclay, which is the West End staging. So the East End staging and West End staging are not too far apart. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tour.